Good morning, my name is Matthew Hugo from Weather Commerce and this is this morning's weather brief on Wednesday the 31st of August. Today's weather brief will cover a summary on the West European 5-day average temperatures, the UK, Europe, Scandinavian precipitation and finally global weather alerts. We will start by taking a summarised look at the mean surface temperatures across Europe. And between days 11 and 15, generally there's been no significant changes compared with yesterday. The temperatures across the majority of Europe are forecast to be either near or just trending slightly below climate averages. The GFS deterministic and GFS ensemble model in particular is signalling temperatures quite significantly below climate averages. However, these are being dismissed as model outliers for the present time. Between days 6 and 10, a similar temperature trend is evident in comparison between days 11 and 15, and that is once again for temperatures across the majority of Europe to be very near to climate averages, though perhaps just trending slightly below by around 1 or perhaps 2 degrees across some central and particularly eastern areas of Europe. And finally, between days 2 and 5 within the short term, the majority of Europe is once again forecast to have temperatures near climate averages, though across some central areas of Europe, including France, Switzerland and Benelux for example, temperatures here may be at least 1 or perhaps even 2 degrees above climate norms. We're now taking a look at the United Kingdom in some closer detail. And as you can see within the highlighted red circle, which generally covers days 11 to 15, the majority of the available forecast models have temperatures very near to a climate average of 15 degrees Celsius. Given model agreement and consistency, confidence levels are medium to high, and that's to suggest that as we progress towards mid-September, temperatures are likely to be very near to climate norms. Also, as a general reminder, please note that the solid red lines on the model comparison graphs is my specific temperature forecast. As we move towards and take a look at days 6 to 10, overall there has been little or no significant changes once again, and the majority of the available forecast models maintain temperatures very near to climate averages of around 15 or 16 degrees Celsius. Confidence levels are medium to high, given that there is once again good model agreement and consistency over temperature trends during this period. And finally, within the short term, over the next 2 to 5 days, temperatures are forecast to initially start near to climate averages, but potentially rising to around 1 or 2 degrees above climate averages towards the weekend of the 3rd and 4th of September. This is in association with the development of a southwesterly air mass bringing milder air to the United Kingdom, but this rise in temperatures is forecast to be short-lived. It is also worth highlighting that across the United Kingdom, various forecast models, both today and yesterday, continue to signal little or no threat of any extremes of temperatures either above or below climate norms. And now taking a look at the expected temperatures across Europe in some closer detail. And between days 11 and 15, confidence levels are medium or medium to high, given good model agreement and consistency, for temperatures to be very near to climate averages, though perhaps just beginning to trend slightly above right at the far end of the 15-day period. The GFS deterministic and the GFS ensemble models, for example, do however signal temperatures below climate norms by at least 3 or 4 degrees. However, these are being dismissed as model outliers, given that there is other model agreement for temperatures to be near climate norms. The latest Austrian model comparison graph helps to illustrate this situation, as you can see within the highlighted red circle covering the 11 to 15 day period. Particularly at the start of the forecast period, temperatures are very near to climate averages, but perhaps with a signal that as we move towards the 12th and 13th of September, temperatures may begin to rise slightly above. Confidence levels over this rise in temperatures are only medium at very best, and overall temperatures are likely to be generally near to climate norms between the days 11 and 15. And taking a look at the middle of the forecast period between days 6 and 10, generally there has been no significant changes from previous days, and that is once again with the exception of some model outliers which take temperatures generally below climate norms. Overall, the majority of the forecast models have temperatures very near to climate norms across the majority of Europe. Using the latest Benelux model comparison graph as an example, as you can see within the highlighted red circle, there is a very good model agreement indeed for temperatures to be very near to a climate average of around 16 or 17 degrees Celsius between days 6 and 10. Good model agreement and consistency has been evident for a number of days. As a result, confidence levels are medium to high to suggest that the majority of Europe is forecast to have temperatures very near to climate norms between days 6 and 10. And finally, over the short term, between days 2 and 5, once again there is model agreement and consistency for many areas of Europe to have temperatures very near to climate averages, though perhaps just trending slightly above by 1 to 3 degrees across central areas of Europe, including France, Benelux and Switzerland, and perhaps just slightly below climate averages across Spain, for example. It is also worth highlighting that there is no forecast models signalling temperatures to be significantly above or below climate norms across the majority of Europe within the next 7 to 14 days. And now taking a look at the expected precipitation totals across Scandinavia. And over the next 7 to 14 days, model agreement and consistency is evident for precipitation totals to be generally above climate averages across many regions. However, Norway and Sweden in particular may have precipitation totals of at least 100 to 125 millimeters over the next 7 to 14 days, which is comfortably well above climate norms in association with quite persistent unsettled conditions. The driest conditions are forecast to be across some northern and also eastern areas of Finland. And now taking a look at global weather alerts which highlight significant deviations from normal. And there is a signal that many areas of Japan over the next 7 days in particular is forecast to have precipitation totals of at least 150 millimeters, though perhaps up to 200 millimeters in association with an active typhoon which is forecast to move across the majority of Japan again within the next 7 days. However, even within the long term, as we move towards mid-September, further above average precipitation totals are forecast in what is expected to be a particularly wet period of weather across the majority of Japan. Well above average precipitation totals are forecast to continue across many western areas of the United States over the next 7 to 10 days at least. Temperatures may be at least 8 to 12 degrees above climate averages, with mean surface temperatures, particularly in and around California, perhaps reaching 90 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. As highlighted within yesterday's audio brief, Tropical Depression 12 has developed over the last 24 hours and is now Tropical Storm Katia. This particular tropical storm is forecast to continue to develop and become a major hurricane within the next 3 or 4 days as it heads towards the west-northwest. There is currently uncertainty over its exact track, but it may well influence southeastern areas of the United States. Thank you for listening to today's weather brief. Goodbye.